The chair is authorized to declare a recess of the committee at any time. Before we get started, I want to ask unanimous consent to waive the following members on for the purpose. Let's see. Okay, or just go ahead and waive them on. For the purpose of asking questions in today's hearing, we have two representatives from the full committee, Mr. Dan Muser from Pennsylvania and Ms. Hillary Schlolten from Michigan. In addition, we have a representative, Lisa McLean from Michigan. Without objection, so ordered. I now recognize myself for an opening statement. Good morning and welcome to today's hearing, which will focus on the SBA's unlawful involvement in registering voters in the state of Michigan. We are seriously concerned that these actions are unlawful and that the SBA is engaging in partisan activities to the detriment of small business owners. Since your signature is at the bottom of this agreement between the SBA and Michigan, Ms. Kim, we look forward to hearing from you and getting answers for the American people during our conversation today. As this committee has pointed out many times before, the SBA can't even handle their current responsibilities. We have heard from the administrator herself that the SBA does not have the resources to do what they are statutorily mandated to do, let alone engage in electioneering. In fact, we heard from several small businesses, like the Silver Star Bee and Maybe Michigan, that the SBA is failing small business owners. The Silver Star Bee bar is not alone. I would like to read a quote from Dr. Chad Savage on the status of SBA assistance in Michigan. Quote, "As a proud small business owner in Michigan, I expect the SBA to provide support and guidance to small businesses. However, instead of focusing on aiding and assisting small businesses like mine, the Biden-Harris administration is diverting taxpayer funds toward voter registration. This misallocation of resources for partisan purposes is frustrating and undermines the critical support that we need for small businesses." The Small Business Association of Michigan found that 50% of small business owners in Michigan report not being optimistic about their prospects over the next 6 months. I would like to ask unanimous consent to submit this survey into the record. Without objection, so ordered. A recent CNBC poll found 86% of small business owners feel that they have no voice in policymaking. The SBA is supposed to be their voice and is failing miserably. The SBA's sole mission is to support small businesses. It has no authority to meddle in electioneering. And by entering into a memorandum of understanding with a battleground state like Michigan to facilitate voter registration, the SBA has stepped far beyond its intended role. This move by the SBA, which they assert is taken under Executive Order 14019, also raises serious legal questions. The SBA has tried to convince us that this memorandum, whenever they started implementing it, will be done in a non-partisan manner. Yet, the administrator determines where she travels, and this committee has found she chooses to visit areas with overwhelmingly Democrat voters. We have no reason to believe that this will change. Moreover, the SBA's recent actions have blurred the line between advocating for small businesses and serving as a political arm of the Biden-Harris administration. We know the SBA has been heavily involved in Michigan. The administrator has traveled to Michigan more than any other state during her tenure. We learned from emails produced by Michigan Department of State that Governor Whitmer was involved in the planning process of this memorandum, and just this week, she was announced as co-chair to the Harris for President campaign. Further, as noted on the SBA's website, your background, Ms. Kim, fails to highlight any experience in helping small businesses, but rather highlights your years of experience in, quote, increasing voter registration in communities of color as well as promoting youth civic engagement, unquote. For obvious reasons, we have a lot of questions. I think we can all agree that the federal government's involvement in state elections goes against constitutional principles, and the SBA has circumvented established protocols, further eroding confidence in its impartiality. For the sake of our job creators, this agency must return to its core mission to reestablish trust and credibility. We charge the SBA to realign your efforts with the needs of American entrepreneurs, addressing concerns such as regulatory burdens and economic recovery. The future of our nation's small business depends on it. Ms. Kim, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to the conversation ahead and finding answers to the many concerns that this committee has raised about apparent electioneering. With that, I yield to our distinguished ranking member from